Hi guys, today we're going to create a piece of art based on this book called Frederick by Leo Leone. And if you haven't read it yet, I am going to, this was actually a book from my mom to my kids. Shows you how old I am. That was from 2003. And anyway, I just love the way Leo Leone always does these little torn art collages. And so that's how we're going to create it. And we're going to recreate this scene here. If you want to create your own scene, I say go for it. I think that's a great idea, but I would start by doing one like the one I'm going to do. So I have some different colors here, gray, black, blue, green, and red. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tear out my body of Frederick, okay? So I'm just going to start with a rectangle and I'm going to tear it in half. And you guys can do this too, okay? So you're gonna tear it, and then you wanna tear it to a square that's about the size, and save your pieces, of the Frederick that you wanna create, okay? So that looks about right. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tear off the corners. And I just wanna tell you guys, please don't worry if your Frederick isn't perfect. Art is not perfect. And everybody's own Frederick is gonna look just beautiful. Okay, I'm not gonna glue anything down yet. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make all my pieces, okay? So next, I'm gonna create his ears. And basically his ears are gonna be like two small squares, okay? So I'm gonna just tear a strip, and then I'm gonna tear a rectangle. Actually, they're rectangles, not squares. Tear another rectangle. And then I'm gonna, basically what I wanna do is I wanna make a teardrop, okay? So if you want, you can draw it on there, if that makes you feel really lightly, if you feel like you need to. And then you can tear around that. And when you tear, you guys, just kind of put your thumb where you don't want it to tear, and then tear. Move it around as you go, okay? And where your left thumb is going to kind of protect the part that isn't being torn, okay? So I'm just going to tear that, just like that. And then I'm going to turn it over so you can't see the pencil marks. So that'll be his right, is that his right ear? It'll be on the right-hand side of him anyway. And then this one I'm actually not gonna draw on there, but you can if you want, okay? And again, it's not incredibly important that it's a perfect teardrop, all right? It's just kind of make one end a little more pointed. That looks perfect. So there we have the beginnings of our Frederick. Now he has some eyelids, okay? And his eyelids, I'm gonna show you, are half circles, okay? So we're gonna do his eyelids now. And I'm gonna just use the extra from what I had before. And if you want, at this point, you can use some scissors because it's getting kind of small. So, but please don't use the scissors for his body and his ears because it just makes him look so much cuter when it's torn, okay? So just gonna make it like a little half circle. And that's good. Make another one. And I'm just using, again, I'm just using the extras from when I tore out his ears. That's fine. Okay. Now we need to get the round white part of his eye. You can just cut them, and all you do is you kind of just hold the scissors in the same place and you cut around your thumb, okay? So there's one. For the younger kids, I definitely recommend that you guys just use a hole puncher, and get your circles pre-made, or you can make them yourself using the circle punch. Okay, and when you need to pick these little pieces up, if you kind of lick your finger, not too much, but a little bit, it helps pick them up. start putting our little thing together so you can see what he's going to look like. Okay. And for the black part of his eye, I am not going to worry about that. I'm going to do that with a marker at the very end. So the last thing we need for actual Frederick, well, the last two things we need are his tail and his arm, okay? So I'm just gonna tear along and make it smaller and smaller as I go for his tail. With a little curve in it. And then I'm gonna do his arm because he's gonna be holding a little flower when we're done. And I'm just gonna tear that out too, but you can cut it if you really want. Okay, and then last but not least, we're gonna do the flower, okay? And so for the flower, you're just gonna cut along the edge of your paper and get a very small strip of green, okay? And then we're also gonna do like a red looking flower, which is almost like, you guys, like a little heart or like a little triangle, okay? And I just like that torn edge look, so I'm gonna go ahead and tear mine. And then the last but not least, you're gonna need a little black thing for the center. And it doesn't have to look fancy or anything. So the other thing you're gonna want is the two big rocks in the front. So these two big rocks. So I'm gonna use blue for that. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut off the corners, okay, of the rectangle for the big one. That's all you have to do. And then for the smaller one, I'm gonna make it, I think I'm gonna just do gray. So I'm gonna take another, I'll just use this one. So this is a smaller rectangle. I'm just gonna cut off the corners off of that as well. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle because it's actually a rock, right? Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting them together. All right, and the main thing you want to think about when you're putting them together is what you put in the back and what you put in the front. So the very back is going to be his body, and I just want to see where I want to put it. I'm going to move him up a little bit. Actually, I'll just leave it down here. So I'm going to put his body just down a little bit. So I'm moving all of the pieces off, but keeping them on my paper. And you can use a scrap piece of copy paper right here to do your glue. I'm using just a glue stick. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn over your piece and you're gonna put glue on the back. Make sure you go all the way to the edges. That's why you have your scrap piece of paper there. And then you're gonna glue him down where you want him. Okay. And try to keep the glue off your fingers so it doesn't get messy. And then next, we're going to put on his ears. So as you read this book, you guys, you're gonna find like how everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. Some of you guys might be good at collage. Other people might be good at painting or drawing. Some of you guys might be better or love photography or video. And there are all different kinds of artists in the world, right? And like, you know, Frederick is a poet. Well, you might be a poet too. You never know. I'm gonna take his little eyeballs, and you want them to be kind of right below each of his ears, okay? Okay, so before you put down your eyelids, we want to create his eyeballs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a marker that I have over here, like a permanent marker. And you guys can, here, let's just use, if I have a thick Sharpie, I'll just use that, but I don't think I do. So I'm just going to use like this fancy marker, but you guys can use a thick Sharpie. Now remember, less is more. You don't want to fill this whole thing in, okay? You just want to do a black circle inside his eyes. So don't go crazy with that, okay, you guys? Just, that's it. No more black marker, all right? And then we're going to put glue on the back of his eyelids. Well, like that. And then, what's next, you guys? He does have a nose and a mouth that I'm gonna, okay, I lied. You're gonna use your marker one more time. You're just gonna do his nose and a little thing for his mouth. So just those 3 things for the marker. Okay, and next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put on his tail. And my tail is right here. And I'm gonna put it on right, I should have put it on underneath him, but that's not a big deal. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna cut along that edge so it kind of fits right up against the body, right? So you can put his tail on before you put on his body if you want, or you can just do what I'm doing. That looks good. So I'm gonna put glue on the back and then paste it down. And then we're gonna do his flower, okay? So his flower kind of comes out at an angle. So I'm putting it on my extra paper so I don't get it on my desk. And then picking it up. And when I put it down, I'm going to put it down. I want it to come almost to the bottom of his body. And just a little bit, across his ear a little bit. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to do the flower. I love collage. It's one of my favorite things, or sometimes artists call it mixed media. It's one of my favorite things to do. And you can use anything. You can use magazines, you can use old book pages that you don't tear up, books that are good books, but old book pages that nobody's using. Finally, we're gonna do the rocks, okay? Do your small one first, okay? So we'll do your small one first. Put down the glue. I'll do steps on this for you guys so that you know which order to put stuff down. Put that one down first, just like that. And then I'm gonna put down my bigger one. Put all the way down to the bottom. Like that. Oh my gosh, look how cute Frederick looks. So if you want, you can sign the bottom of your page so that everybody knows who the artist was. You can write your name down there. Okay, so I hope you guys have fun with this. This is a fun project to do. Your teacher might even ask you to write a little poem that you can put on here, which I think would be super cute. So have fun with this.